Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandragon's Cave. Today we are gonna be learning about lights and shadows. Obviously this is for a very beginners. I have this playlist that I'm creating that I'm gonna put here where you can learn all of the steps to introduce yourself into the world of drawing, okay? How to draw faces, how to draw bodies, how to understand, like today, the light, how to understand silhouette, what about the panels, for example, when you are drawing a comic, for example, and how you can differentiate different sizes, for example. And today I think this can be very nice and very helpful. And you only need basic stuff, paper and a pencil for today. Normally as well only with things like a pen as well, rubber, sharpener. You don't need many things, okay? So just with whatever you have around. I've done these exercises in schools, in university, private schools as well, at different levels for very young people and for older generations as well, and it was always a very positive feedback. So I want to show you as well so you can learn about this. So lights and shadows are gonna enhance your character. We have learned how to design the characters here, but when you want to do a render, you want to do a final kind of coloring or a final texturing, for example, you need to do something like this. So you understand with 3 circles, we are gonna simulate like this is a 3D sphere, let's say, okay? Let's imagine for a moment that we have the light coming from here, okay? We need to think in our character or in our object from where the light is coming. If the light is coming here, I'm gonna make it very obvious, okay? We will have the light, the main whiteness of the ball of this sphere in this area because the light is coming from here, okay? And then what we will do is this corner, obviously, we will paint it in a way like this, okay? To create this kind of effect. Obviously, you don't have to do this line. This is just me trying to understand how the sphere works. Let's say that the light is quite strong, okay? And is creating even another layer of shadow that it goes closer. Okay, like this. So this part here is getting darker, okay, as you can see, okay? Obviously, to put this in perspective, imagine that we have the ball sitting on a table in any kind of surface. It will affect the shadow depending of the surface. If it is like a wood, if it is, let's say, a glass, if it is a metal, you will have different results. So the best idea for seeing examples is to open your browser and find exercises like this so you can see the reflections, how they work, okay? So let's say that here, because I have the light here, obviously, the shadow it's on the side, okay? It's creating a shadow here on the side, okay? Because all of this is projected. You see how this is projecting here to create this shadow. This is the first example. Now for a moment, let's think about the second sphere that we have here, okay? Let's imagine, for example, that we have the light coming from the side, completely from the left-hand side, okay? Then, and the light maybe is closer even, so the whiteness, it becomes bigger, okay? So it's kind of like this. So we have all of this area in shading and all of this floor or table or any kind of surface that we have, this is creating the shadow. The closer the light, the longest the shadow, okay? And again, it can have different levels. So practice with your pencils this exercise to create different gradients here. We will do another exercise about gradients, but this is just for you to think about this, how it works, and situate yourself in the concept of the light and the shadows, okay? Something like this, it is very easy. So if actually you have some sort of object at home, let's say you have a ball as well, you have a sphere at home, you have any kind of object like a lamp, a mug, everything, or a figurine from your favorite series, for example, anything will be valid. So you take a lamp, one of those standing lamps that you may have maybe in your table, the table that you do your homework or you do your writings and your things, and put the object here, and then put the lamp in front of it, standing, and move the lamp around, and you see how the shading or all the light and shadows in the object is changing, and how the shadow that is projected here on the table, like is this one that we are drawing here, or this one here, you will see how the shadow moves. As you can see, I don't have a lamp here, but just from the window you see how we have the shadow there, and how the shadow is darker here because the light is coming from here, so it's creating a darker part on the other side, and there's a little bit more because the light is, this is a long window, so it's creating less light from here, okay? But any kind of objects that you have around is gonna be creating lights and shadows, and it's gonna do this 3D effect. So when you are drawing, if you create something like this, okay, like a shading for your character, and if you work a lot on it, okay, with pencils or with color pencils that are more towards the B than the H, towards the B, if you buy a B pencil or a B1, B2, B3, that means that it's softer, so you can work the shadows better. If you work more with a pen that is H or towards the H, let's say 1H, 2H, 3H, this is gonna be more delicate, okay? Like this is HB in the middle. So it's gonna be more delicate if you wanna do architecture designs, so lines more clean, you wanna define your character, but for shadows, you can use more towards the B, okay? Any kind of B type of pencil. All the brands, Standler, Alpino, then you have as well Carandash for color pencils. Any kind of brand have the whole spectrum of tones, okay? And that's gonna help you to see the differences. Let's imagine for a second that here, this is not a circle, but it's a face. I'm just gonna be doing fast, okay? A face, let's say, it's like a type of like snake guy, maybe like this, like creepy smile, like this, with the teeth, something like this, okay? Let's say like a type of Voldemort type of character, okay? Like this. And let's say that for our character, that is a mini Voldemort here, okay? Let's do like a neck. You have learned, if you have watched the videos, how to do this, okay? So I'm gonna put this specific one to learn how to do faces here, but you already know how to do this at this stage, okay? So for a second, imagine that we have this character, that is my cartoon 2D character. And I wanna put a light, for example, that the light is coming, let's say, from the top. We want the light to come from the top, like this, because we want to do the character like Halloween, like ominous, okay? Because the eyebrows, okay, that we have here, and this is something that you will see a lot in manga, when, let's say, Luffy is fighting and he gets upset, he has this type of shadows, okay? So let's say that the light is on top, okay? And then, under the eyebrows, you will have some shadow in here, okay? Under the eyes, so there is some shadow here as well. Here, under the chin, under the mouth, you have as well these shadows here, okay? Depending on how Halloween you want to make it as well, you can change. When you are, let's say, in a summer school, in a summer camp or something, that you have sometimes the Halloween night or something, this is kind of a scary, kind of, you know, the light is there on top and it's scary like this. There is another one as well that you can have, obviously, all of these will take shading. Let's say that the nose is like this, all of these will take shading, This is kind of a little bit like ominous, like dangerous, okay? Like this. Then you can have as well the other way around. You can get this, let's imagine for a second, for our character, again, some sort of Voldemort that we are doing here, okay? Like this. Like he's upset, no? Like this, for example. And the eyebrows as well, like this. So let's say that you put the light coming from under the chin, like this, as well, and that will give as well a very ominous effect, because it's gonna illuminate this and it's gonna make almost the eyes even go dark, like this, and the whole head is gonna be dark, like this, okay? So you will see all these details being very, very creepy. Even here with the lips, it gets here darker. And you have only a little bit of light here, a little bit of light here, okay? So depending on where do you want to put the emphasis for your character, you will do the light in one way or in another, okay? Let's say we have another guy here, okay? And as we done here, for example, or here, the light is coming from this side, no? So what are we gonna do? Let's say that he has like a decoration here as well, some details, and obviously let's assume that there's some hair. So the light is coming from here, from the side, so we will assume that this is gonna be light, this is gonna be light, but on the other side of the nose we need to put some shading. This ear is gonna be in shade, okay? This side of the face is gonna be in shading as well, okay? The neck as well. The eye maybe has a little bit here, but the nose needs to be clear because the light is hitting on the side of the nose. Here as well, like this, maybe a little bit here, okay? So we see how the light is affecting the character. Let's assume, for example, for a moment that we have a character, let's say like this, okay? And let's say that our guy is wearing a flat cap or something, no? Like he is like dressing like this, having a flat cap there, a little bit of hair, let's say, okay? And the light is coming from here, let's say, no? From here, from above, we have light. So what's gonna happen here with our guy is that because we have this flat cap here, he's wearing a cap, like a hat. So we will see how the shadow from the object, okay, that we are wearing is gonna do shadow on my eyes, like this, okay? Like this, it's gonna be very epic, like this, obviously. Very diabolical here, you see. You can play with these resources about lights and shadows however you want. If you want to do hyper-realistic and you go for spheres and you try to play with the lights, you will see how you can actually be very accurate, okay, with your tones as well, trying to go always, remember, for something that is more towards the B than towards the H. For your characters, like if you do characters like me that are a little bit more cartoon, a little bit more comic, okay, a little bit more silly, you can play as well and you can apply the emotion of the character. Like if my guy here is gonna be evil because he's gonna be some, I don't know, some bad guy, for example, I will do shadowing under the eyes, like here, like here, like here, depending on what type of villain it's gonna be, to emphasize. It doesn't have to have real life, it is just for my comic, for my cartoon designs, to portray some sort of evilness, okay, some sort of evil character. But you will see in movies, in shows, in TV shows, everywhere in comics and in graphic novels especially as well, that when someone is a little bit bad, they will have this shadowing. In One Piece as well, as I like to talk about One Piece because we always do the videos here in the channel, that I'm gonna put here some of the One Piece videos as well so you can have a look. Oda likes to do, let's say, like, let's assume for a second that this is Luffy, okay, a quick Luffy without thinking much, like this. So he is Luffy, very, very upset Luffy, and has the scar here on the eye and everything, okay? And Luffy is gonna be maybe shocked. So we are gonna think that the light is invented in this case and he's gonna have some shadows, like maybe around here, around the face, like he's gonna make him look like, oh my god, he's very worried. You play with the eyes as well to showcase like some sort of tension, or depending on what you want to do as well. Let's say that he wants to be aggressive, no? And the eyebrows are going to be like that. The eyebrow concept and everything we have learned as well in these videos how to do it, okay? But you see how just by this he is going to be more aggressive and more cheeky, okay? Depending on the shadows are going to help a lot. As you can see, this is a video about light and shadows, a little bit about everything. Doesn't need to be realistic to be real, okay? If you are gonna go for hyper realistic or for realistic designs, yes, follow this structure. But if you are gonna do fantasy, comic, manga, you can do approaches like this, that depending on the character, if the character is more evil, you can play with things like this, or it's gonna be a little bit cheeky as well, you can do something like this. It's gonna do some mischief. For example, you can go for an approach like you have painted the eyes like this, okay? And this video is connecting very nicely as well with the silhouette video as well, so you can understand the negative and the positive when you have black and white, and how the silhouette is very important to recognize a character, for example, okay? So all of this I think is quite straightforward to do as an exercise. You can do the circle, you can do different levels, okay? Another day we can do textures, but as I said, we have, let's say, a face here, okay? And this is gonna be a happy haze, for example, here, okay? And we are gonna make maybe some nice hair like this. For example. Okay, so we have our character. And then we want to add some light coming from the front, okay? You need to think about all the objects that you have on your way. We are putting light in the front, yes, but this girl here has glasses, so how is gonna hit that light, no? So maybe you need to do some reflections as well as a texture here. Just thinking about the glasses, some reflections, okay? Maybe the glasses themselves are gonna cast a little bit of shadow, like for the rim, like this, okay? Maybe the shadow, because it's coming from the front, from this direction, maybe there's a tiny bit of shadow here under the chin, okay? And then you have a little bit here on the cheeks, for example, as well. The hair may have some textures as well, and some lights as well, okay? Depending on what type of color she's gonna have. And as you go working like this, you start putting all the details, okay? All the details and all the shadows that you want, wherever you want to have them, okay? Let's say that, for example, she is wearing a bow, let's say, here at the back, like this. And because the light is coming from the front, I do not see light here, so I see shadow from the head, okay? But this is with light, because the light is coming from the front, okay? From, let's say, this position, something like this, okay? So I think with these kind of basic exercises, basic tips, you are good to go and to practice, especially this one here. Try to do a page full of circles and try to position arrows where you think the light is going to be coming from. If it is difficult for you, take your phone maybe and put an object on your phone here and move your phone around to see how the object, how the shadows change. If you have a figurine, like I showed you in the previous video, my Momonosuke figurine, a tiny figurine I have of him, just take the figurine and move the light of your phone around to see how his face is gonna be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more Halloween-y, more creepy, or more happy, depending on where the phone is located, depending on where the light is coming from, okay? So this is basic exercises regarding light and shadows. We can always go more in depth and do more detailed circles, spheres. We can do faces specifically detailed as well to express some sort of feeling like panic, or like stress, where the shadows for stress will go, for example. We can do all of those as well, and maybe do 6 phases and go more in depth, okay? But for a beginner initial concept, I think something like this is a very, very interesting, or something like this for a character in cartoon as well, very easy to do, okay? Or when you do this exercise, then jump and draw a face, the same face, or photocopy the same face that you're going to be drawing 6 times, and try to put the light in different positions, from the top, from the bottom, from one side, from the other side. First, easy, and then try to go in an angle like this, pointing like this. The light is here, or the light is here, or the light is coming from behind of the object, okay? Try to play, to see, just to see. And when you are watching a movie tonight at home, or you are watching an animation as well, look into those things, and you will see how easy are to spot now that you know all these tips, all this information, okay? So I think we finished for today. I'm gonna sign. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23. You can say it as you want, and this is the Mandrago's Cave. I hope you enjoyed the video, you enjoyed the talk, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.